Hello everyone and welcome to SkillCapped's guide to one of the most powerful and popular agents, Brimstone. We here at SkillCapped have studied all of the top Brimstone players in order to devise a complete guide with everything you need to know about him. By the end of this guide, you will know some of the craziest Brimstone tips that hardly any players are aware of, some insane ways to get free kills, and even how to counter Brimstone. Now before we hop into all the craziest Brimstone tips, we need to first understand his role. Understanding Brimstone's role is one of the most basic but impactful things to understand. In Valorant, Brimstone is classified as a controller. Controller agents are great at supporting their teammates, usually by limiting other teams' vision. As a comparison, Omen is another controller agent. Both Omen and Brimstone are in this classification because of their unique abilities to obscure vision. Brimstone takes this a step further though with his Molly ability and ultimate. Essentially, he's one of the best agents in the game right now when it comes to controlling areas of the map and delaying the enemy's ability to push through choke points. He's an agent with a lot of potential, which is what we will be unlocking today. But first, you have to start by mastering his abilities. Brimstone's first ability is one of the most underused abilities in Valorant. This is the Stim beacon. The Stim beacon costs 100 credits and 2 can be held each round. This ability is able to be thrown a short distance and upon landing will grant players the rapid fire effect. The rapid fire effect increases firing speed of all weapons by about 50%. This effect will be applied to anyone that walks within the beacon. It also lasts for 5 seconds when players exit the beacon. Now even though the Stim beacon is extremely underused, it has a lot of potential if you use some of these simple tips. To start, let's talk about the Stim beacon fake. The Stim beacon is usually used as a method to get a couple of extra bullets off, but with this trick, you can actually outsmart your opponents with it. Let's say you want to trick your opponent into thinking that you're in a different position. Well, you can do this by throwing the Stim beacon to that area, then moving away. This will make the enemy think that you're in that position, when in reality, you've just outplayed them. Another way you can utilize this Stim beacon is by leaving it somewhere that allows your teammates to also benefit from the effects. For instance, normally you would place it here at mid and then push. Instead, throw it back here so that your teammates are also able to get that extra fire rate buff. Just keep in mind though that enemies will also benefit from the Stim beacon. When they run inside this area effect, they will also get the rapid fire effect. So always be cautious of this. Now I know the Stim beacon might not be the most exciting ability, but using these tricks can help turn it into a powerful ability. Next up, we are going to be talking about the Incendiary. This is a Molotov type ability that costs 300 credits. You can hold 1 per round. Now before we get into some of the crazier tips, let's first understand exactly how the Incendiary works. When you pull the ability out, you will have a small grenade launcher type device. When you left click this, it will shoot a metal canister that contains the fire. This fire will bounce and land on the ground, covering a 10-meter wide section of the ground in fire. One of the main things to remember when using this ability is that it has to bounce once on the ground before it actually explodes with fire. Here in this clip, we see that the Molotov bounces once off the ground and then lands, creating the fire. This is super important to remember because it affects where your fire lands. Make sure to remember this bounce is going to occur so that you can accurately land your mollies. Now on to our tips. One of the main tips to know while using the Molotov is using it to clear corners. Many times while you push out, there are a ton of corners and angles that you have to check. Well, with this molly, you can clear some of these without risking your life. For instance, let's say you're coming through hookah on B-site bind. Usually you have to take this 50-50 peek and possibly die. Well, instead of taking this risky peek, you can use the Incendiary to clear the left side, then safely focus on just the right side. This will eliminate the risk of dying to someone hiding and will allow you to have peace of mind knowing that you don't have to check this. You can use this tip almost anywhere that you decide to push. And another super useful way to use the Incendiary is by blocking off an area from the other team. This is shown really well on A site of bind. When we push into A site from mid, we see that there are a ton of areas that could push and peek us. You can eliminate this issue by using the molly on U-Haul. This will give you and your team some safety while you push onto site. Doing this will allow you to not only have to focus on less angles, but also has the chance to get some free damage off on enemies that get caught in the fire. And our last tip involves using it to prevent enemies from defusing the bomb. Brimstone's mollies last for 8 seconds, which is absolutely insane. If you're defending a bomb plant, you can avoid trying to take direct gunfights with opponents and instead quickly shoot a molly on top of the bomb. This can even be chained with his ultimate to further prevent defuses, something that we'll be getting into later. This will either get you a kill or delay the defuse long enough that the bomb explodes and you win the round. So we've already covered a lot, but this next section contains by far the most useful tips for Brimstone that you will find anywhere. We're going to be going over some of the crazy ways to get nutty kills with Brimstone's Sky Smoke. Brimstone's Sky Smoke is a 100 credit ability that allows players to smoke off anything that is 40 meters or closer from the player. Brimstone has 3 slots for these smokes, but you get 1 free smoke per round. So if you end the round with 2 smokes, the next round you will spawn in with 3. The smoke has a diameter of 7 meters, and this can be compared to Omen smokes, which also has a diameter of 7 meters. Now, most players use this smoke in the basic, most common way. They will smoke something off so that the enemies either can't get info or can't comfortably push. This is definitely an effective way to use the smokes, but there are so many more things that you can do to vary how this ability is used. To start, let's talk about one-way smokes. Put simply, a one-way smoke is a smoke that allows you to see the enemy while they are not able to see you. If you aren't familiar with one-way smokes, this is going to blow your mind. There are multiple places that you can smoke that will allow you to see the enemy's legs, and they won't be able to see you at all. One of the most prominent examples of this is on Bind. Defending A site, you can set up a smoke that allows you to get some crazy free kills. You are first going to want to make sure you are in range of this box. Next, place your smoke right here on the map. This will make the smoke land directly on this box. Now that the smoke is down, you need to sit here on site and watch the angles. As soon as you see someone's legs, spray them down through the smoke. From the enemy's perspective, you will just be destroying them through the smoke with no explanation. Another notably strong one-way is on the map Split. While defending on Split, you can place a smoke right here. This will give you free kills on the enemy while they attempt to push mid. Use these one-way smokes as a way to get free kills on the enemy, but also to stop a push. As soon as the enemy team starts to catch on to this tactic, they'll stop pushing the one-way. Use this knowledge to go help teammates elsewhere. Now, our next tip is going to be another way to vary your gameplay and hopefully get you some more kills. So like we were talking about earlier, most players will smoke things off, then fall off of the angle and watch something else. Now don't get me wrong, this is an effective strategy, but this next one I'm going to show you will help make you unpredictable and deadly. So after smoking something off, instead of falling off, push through silently while walking. This is an extremely risky strategy, but can be insane if done correctly. I'll show you an example on Haven mid right here. Use your smokes to block off angles and push through. The enemies won't expect you to be pushed up, so when you start shooting, they will be clueless. You can do this basically anywhere on any map, but keep in mind after doing this, they will start to catch on. So make sure you keep yourself unpredictable by using normal smokes, one-way smokes, and even pushing through your smokes. Now that we've been over all of Brimstone's basic abilities, let's talk about his ultimate. Brimstone's ult, when used correctly, is one of the most powerful in the game. The ability is known as Orbital Strike and requires 6 ultimate points to charge. After charge, this ability rains a fiery blast down on a 20 meter wide area, dealing 20 damage per second. One of the reasons this ability is so effective is because it will inadvertently slow anyone inside of it because they are being hit. Now let me know if this resonates with you. You get your ultimate and are ready to get some seemingly free kills. You use the ult on an area that your teammates spot an enemy in, except you don't actually do any damage. Sound familiar? Well, it happens to all of us, but I'm going to teach you how to actually use his ult. I went through and studied exactly how all of the top Brimstone players were using the ult, and this is what I found. The Orbital Strike is best used in a tight, confined area. One of the best examples of this is on Split. At mid, we can use our ultimate on Vents and almost guarantee ourselves with a kill. This is because it is so hard to escape the ultimate when used in a confined area like this. Now we know where to use the ultimate, but how do you make sure you get the kill with it every time? Well, there are a couple ways to look at this. First, you can wait until someone peeks and take a gamble on where you think they will be and then ult them. Try to predict the exact position of the enemy to guarantee a kill. Another way to look at it is the fact that you don't actually have to get a kill with this ability for it to be helpful. While pushing a bomb site, use the ultimate to block off an entry so that your enemies can't easily retake. You might not get the kill, but this will allow you and your team to get into better positioning. Now these are definitely some powerful tips, but let's talk about the real power within his ult. By far, one of the best situations for his ult is after you plant the bomb. After you plant, you're going to want to run away to somewhere safe. Now that you're safe, you want to listen. listen for when the enemy starts to defuse. After about a second of them defusing, you want to use your ultimate. This will do one of two things. It will either kill the enemy before they can defuse, or it will force them to quickly get off the bomb and stop the defuse. One of the most important things to remember while using this though, is you have to make sure to use it quickly. If you wait too long to use your ult after they start defusing, then they could get to the halfway point. You want to make sure they cannot get to the halfway point and that they can't survive if they try to stick it. These are easily the best ways to use your ultimate, as well as all of the other abilities. Alright, now you've mastered Brimstone's abilities, so let's learn from the pros to see exactly how to put all of this together. Right now, our experts think the pro player from TSM Subroza is likely the best Brimstone in the world. TSM has been performing extremely well in all of the recent tournaments, and Subroza has been popping off in pretty much every single game with his Brimstone. I know he may not be the biggest pro name with a ton of recognition, but trust me, this guy is being slept on right now. So for this clip, we're going to watch Subroza and his team try to push on to A-site bind. He starts by placing his smokes that are going to block any angles from sight and heaven. This allows his teammates to all push up towards the site pretty safely. He then uses one of the ult tactics that we just went over earlier in the video. He used his ultimate to force the enemies out of their position. This forces the other team to push into places where they aren't comfortable. Even though he didn't get any kills with his ultimate, it was still a very, very useful ult. Alright, that's going to do it for this one. We'd love to hear what you thought was the most useful tip in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get more premium guides just like this one. We here at SkillCapped want to thank you for watching, and good luck, good half, and good game.